What's up, sellers? In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I photograph shoes for eBay and Poshmark. A few days ago on Instagram, I got a DM from a YouTube subscriber who is also a follower on my Instagram, and they asked if I could show how I photograph shoes in order to sell on eBay and Poshmark. I'm going to show my process. It's not the only process. Obviously, there's so many ways to do things. I have sort of split test my my methods, and I'm just trying to optimize and always get the very best converting photos for my listings. And so I'm going to share what I've found to be effective for me. It may not be effective for you. However, I'm going to share that with you today, and yeah, let's jump into it. So the first thing I would show you is that I'm photographing on a white background because both Poshmark and eBay favor white backgrounds. So you can see I've got these black Nikes here. You can see one actually looks nicely shaped and the other looks all dilapidated, and I'll get into that in a minute. And then also I have this giant soft box, and in there is a 1250 lumen LED bulb. That LED bulb is what lights this. A lot of sellers that I know use two lights, one from each side. It's perfectly okay. For myself, I like this nice directional light. I like to have a little bit of shadows on the left. And I'm just gonna go through the layout of how I photograph my shoes. First though, I'm gonna show you how I get this nice shape here. It's this thing right here. It's called a shoe tree. There's a link in the description below if you wanna check them out. You can get a pair of these for, I don't know, $8 or so on Amazon. And that's what gives this shoe its nice sleek shape. It looks very fitted. That's what that is. You can see the shoe doesn't have any. I do see a lot of eBay photos without a shoe tree, and it just looks sickly. I personally wouldn't want to buy a pair of shoes that look like this. Yeah, that's not appealing at all. So get yourself some shoe trees. If you don't have shoe trees, stuff some paper or pair of socks or something down into the toe and under the tongue just to fill out the shoe. We want to give an accurate representation of what the shoe would look like when the buyer has it on. So I'm gonna put the other shoe tree in, and you can just kind of see the process and how I do that. So what I do is I kind of take the laces and get them mostly fitted. You don't want it to be too tight because then it'll really look like it's stretching to get that shoe tree in there. Get them mostly pulled, get that shoe tree in. Sometimes they go cattywampus to one side or the other, and so I just kind of move them back and forth until it looks about like a normal foot is in there. And then finish just snugging up those laces just a little bit. I try my very best to make sure I always have my laces completely flat and not twisted. You can see this one has a twist in it. Let's just fix it. There we go. So those are now all flat. You can see these look so crispy, just like that. Now, the way that I've gone about photographing my shoes, because I want consistency in all of my listings and all of my product, I always do the same setup every single time. I photograph on my Canon M50, which is a mirrorless camera. I just use the kit lens. There's links in the description if you want to check those out. I set this to a 1:1 ratio, so it's a perfect square. Because Poshmark and eBay both use square photos for the main thumbnails, I just take all of my photos in squares. I start like this. I take this picture first, and then I do this picture from the front here, like that, a little bit above. And then I take this picture like this, and then I do the back. This is the same for every single pair of shoes. Then I set the shoes up like this, so you can kind of, this is the inside of the shoe, the inner part of the shoe. And then I lay them like this. It's a little bit tricky right here, especially when holding a camera, but I set them on top of each other like such, sort of. If I had both my hands free, this would work. Anyways, this is how I do that to get some, to get the sole of the shoe. And then I get in close and I take detailed shots of the sole and the heel. And then finally, I take one of the shoe trees out and I get a close-up of this tag. I always make sure to crop my fingers out. I will just crop the tag in post. However, that is the final photo that I do. Now for eBay, I generally make sure to get all 12 photos uploaded, but with Poshmark, they only allow 8 photos, so I just max out with 8. But I always do that. First one facing to the right, second facing forward, third facing left, fourth facing rear, then get a picture of the soles, the inside of the shoes, and then the tag itself. It's super important, in my opinion, to get a picture of the tag. I hate buying shoes on Poshmark or eBay, and I can't even see what the tag says because I want to see, the tag tells a lot. It tells whether the shoe has been excessively worn, because with some shoes like Asics and Brooks, those tags rub off really, really bad once the shoe has been completely worn. So that's something to pay attention to. Always take pictures of the tag. It helps the buyer judge the quality of the shoe and how used the shoe is. For myself, like I said, I'm always checking and testing and optimizing things to see what sells the best. In my opinion, the white background with the shoes facing to the right tends to convert the best. I used to do angled as my cover shot, or angled this way, or the shoes being facing left. It all, like, you just have to test it. For me, I make the most sales, it seems like, whenever the shoes are at a right angle to the right. Yes, like I showed you in that first picture. So I hope that's helpful. I hope you guys got some value out of this. Don't overthink it. Honestly, like if you need to, just use your cell phone. An iPhone works great. My only suggestion would be to make sure that you set the aspect ratio to 1:1. That way you don't have to be wondering whether the shoe will be cut off whenever you upload that image to eBay or Poshmark. Just take all the photos with a square aspect ratio and you're good. Yeah, that's about it. Super easy. Don't overthink it. There's a list of supplies down in the description of this video if you want to check those out, including the shoe trees and all my cleaning supplies, as well as the camera equipment that I'm using both to film this and what I use to capture the photos of the shoes. Hey guys, thank you for watching the video today. Really appreciate it. If you got some value from this video, I sure would appreciate a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. Be sure to subscribe if you're not already. And then, as always, keep selling, get the bag. I'll see you on the next video.